idea that you're going to die. Not the theoretical, the real, that puts everything in your life in perspective. And wouldn't it be great to have that perspective now, when you're young enough and healthy enough to do so? Still, no book, no Methodist church visits. I was going to see an old professor. Nobody was keeping track of it. And in fact, the only way a book even entered the picture was on the second or third visit we were having. I asked Maury, quite out of the blue, what do you fear the most with your disease? And, I thought his answer would be, how I'm going to die, I'm going to choke, or whatever. And he said, I fear the debt I'm going to leave my family. And it was only then that I found out that if you're planning to die at home from a terminal illness, you better have deep pockets, because insurance will not cover many of the things that you need. And Maury had been dying for 2 years. So he was deeply in debt. He didn't have a way to pay it. And he was afraid he not only was going to die, and that would be horrible for his family, but then they'd be paying off his debts for the rest of their lives, and that would be worse. So I got the idea maybe I could help him defray his costs. And the only way I knew how to do anything was write. So I thought, well, maybe I could do a book. I had so little confidence in the idea that I didn't even tell Maury. I just said, because I didn't want to fail and then let him down. So I said, well, why don't we just, we're already talking, we'll tape our conversations. Why don't we just make something written down about this or whatever, organized. And of course, being a professor, he said, yeah, let's do a thesis together. And I said, great, I'm 37, I'm going to be getting homework again. So he let him call what he did. And I went down to New York in between those Tuesdays, and I tried to find a publisher for this book. Now again, the way you know Tuesdays with Maury, you would have thought that everybody would be jumping out the window saying, Tuesdays with Maury, we'll take it. That's not the way it works. I first went to the sports publishers, that big publishers that I'd written sports books before, that made a lot of money for them. I said, look, this is a very important project to me. It's a labor of love. I don't need that much. I just need enough to pay his bills. Would you please publish this book? No. Not interested. Come back when you have another sports book. So then I tried to go to other publishers. No. Not interested. Too depressing. Nobody wants to read it. I was in one publisher's office, and a very highfalutin publisher who publishes some of the biggest names in fiction and nonfiction. And I started to tell the story about Maury and tell how he was dying and tell him, his life and my life. And the guy interrupted me. He said, listen, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think you have any idea how to write a memoir. I don't think you even understand the genre of the memoir. And I always find it's a bad sign when they start using French, We were heading downhill. He said, come back in 20 years, maybe you'll have some kind of concept, but I don't think you know what you're doing. And I remember leaving that office and walking on the streets of New York with my literary agent, and I was in tears. I said, what am I doing wrong? Why can't they just tell you, no thank you? Why do they have to take you apart like that? And I try not to be a vindictive person. I try to let things roll off of me, especially in church. But I do have to say that I did take a little satisfaction in reading a newspaper story last year, USA Today. I happened to be leafing through it, and I came upon a paragraph that I didn't even know until I read it. It said that Tuesdays with Maury is now the most successful memoir of all time. So, I don't know what happened to that guy, but I'm sure he found suitable employment in the food services industry.